All right, what's up, everybody? I am doing a special interview with Stephanie Johnston. It is June 19th, just days away from the Mastermind Summit in Las Vegas. We are both going to be doing keynotes at this event. She's got a 20-minute keynote she's going to give. For anyone who doesn't know who Stephanie is, she's in Dallas, Texas. She did 100 million last year in production. She's already done over 50 million for the year. She thinks she's going to do somewhere between 120 and 130. Did I get that right, Stephanie?
hmm That's the goal. Unless, I mean, hopefully we can ramp that up even more, but conservatively we'll hit that.
All right. All right. And then, by the way, this is my takeaway just to get to know how competitive she is. She knew that she was one loan less than the mortgage nerd, Denise Donahue. She did one more loan than me. She didn't, by the way, she said it with happy smile, but you could just tell there's a little bit of competitiveness here.
Well, I mean, I've always chased her, right? You always have to have someone to chase. Denise has been my person I've chased for a many a years. And I was like, oh, look, we are like within, I think it was like 300, I don't know the unit count, but within dollars of like 300 grand on the year to date. I was like, man, that's real close, real close. But she got me.
She
She's had
got
to.
you. She got you. It's like right at the
Got
last
me.
minute. Like literally, if it was a football game, it would have been the last play of the game.
I
Uh,
know.
I know.
But
Well,
always you got to surround yourself with good company and have those people to chase and those that we all look up to in the industry. So
yeah.
hopefully
Well,
I can inspire others too.
yeah. Well, if you're watching this, if you're watching it on the day that it goes, it's the day that she spoke because we're not going to release this before the presentation. It's too late for you to sign up for Mastermind, but it's not too late to sign up for next year. Like, guys, this is an incredible event. It's going to be an amazing stage. It's going to be myself. It's going to be Denise Donahue, Jeremy Forcier, and Stephanie, each of us delivering 20-minute keynote presentations. So I can't wait for that. So, Stephanie, I know you're going to talk about adversity. You're fueled by adversity. I interviewed you, I don't know, several months ago. She talked about how in the same year she overcame cancer. She's a mom. She's a $100 million producer. So why did you pick this as your title? Because I said when you were asked to speak, it was like, we want you because of who you are and the story that you have and what you've accomplished. But what was why the title? Why did you pick this as your keynote?
I think I was sitting here and I'm like, what do people need to hear? Right. And I always, and this is where I kind of start the presentation. We look up, we're 36 months into the craziest market. I remember sitting there and saying, man, like what's different today? That eerie feeling, like something has changed in our marketplace. And if we look back, that was July of 2022. We're going into July of 25, guys. So 36 months. And each day, I really do think that sometimes it's a mindset thing, and sometimes it's a what are we going to do different thing, and putting it in perspective. Because I think a lot of times when people get to a certain production level, they think, oh, it's roses and sunshine, that's easy, like they didn't have to do this, or they're
You've made
handed,
it.
you
I've made
know,
it. Like there's a
I've
place where
made
you've made
it
it.
and here.
Yeah.
And I like to pull back the curtain on that and realize, like, I mean, we're all in the trenches, we're all still here. The fact that we're all here, guys, after this long, a really long tunnel, just to put it in perspective and kind of go through my journey, and then just how I had to really rethink my business. And I think a lot of people are going to really need to look at, okay, what I did before, is that going to work going into the future?
I
So,
I
well,
love that.
motivation, a little bit like, okay, you can do it, and then just share my journey, and hopefully that inspires some people.
Well, guys, we're going to be inspired. Sit back. You know, if you've ever watched an artist, a singer perform, and it's kind of like they sing a song and then they talk about why and what. This is kind of what we're going to do, a little unplugged. I may interrupt Stephanie to throw in a little coaching note. But Stephanie, let's rock. Like let's pull up
All
your
right,
slides. Let's almost pretend like you just got introduced on stage and let's go.
let's go. No, I like the stage better when I'm on Zoom. Like I actually like the interaction. Believe it
Well,
or not, that's
who
one of my,
doesn't like the
no,
interaction of
it's
being on
so
stage
much
versus
easier
Zoom?
to present in my mind. And now what we're got to do is I've got to come in here and pull this up. I've got my slides, and then let me go grab you so I can share my screen, because I have got them backwards. You know, we're so prepared here for the backwardsness. All right, so we've got, all right, is
But by the way, how many
that,
screens do we think Stephanie has? Stephanie, how many screens you
I
got on
only
there?
have two. I have
Okay.
two really
But
big
I bet you got a
screens.
lot going on those two screens.
Yeah, I got two really big screens. I know some people do the like four and this. I'm like, I can fit a lot on the two, but I mean, I think they're like 32s. I mean, my whole it's wide.
It's
Like
a
it's
it's a mission control. Like there's a lot of action
yes.
going
If
on
if
in
you
those
make
two
me work
screens.
on a computer or laptop without a mouse is a big one, and then the screens, like I can't do it. So
All right.
there's my crutch.
Well, let's go. Like, how are you going to open it up? And
All
let's
right,
roll.
perfect. We've did that worked, right? You got my screen?
Yeah, I got your
Good.
screen.
Okay, perfect. All right. Um, so I know Dave's going to introduce me, so he's going to say something fabulous and awesome, hopefully. I don't know what he's going to do, but he's going to introduce me. And then we've got really just, guys from, I went all in and said, the cancer survivor up to the $100 million prediction. And I want to kind of talk through my journey, with how we got here. And the main thing, as far as kind of alluded to before, every time I look at our market and where we're at, I really think like this long tunnel and when are we going to be out of it? Like, where are we at? Our current market in 36 months, literally 3 years, that day that we are sitting there. And there's certain days in my industry or my career that I've said, something's different. Where are we? And that was July of 2022. We still have affordability issues, we have elevated rates, we have margin compression. And I think we have the worst mortgage market since 95. Like this is our reality as far as where we're at today. Way I like to start is, this is our reality, but it's your choice of how we want to handle this. And I always try to find the positive and, we have choice. And one day we're going to get the end of that tunnel. We're going to get there. I can't tell you when it is. I can't tell you when rates are going to drop. So at some point we're going to deal with staying in the tunnel a little bit longer, unfortunately, where we're at. So I wanted to go through a little bit of my journey, and I like to bring light in terms of my journey just because, again, I think when people get to a certain production level, they think maybe, that your family was in it. You have certain backgrounds, you were handed something. And I like to talk through that. That was definitely not my journey. I listed some of my very fun facts here. I actually have a fashion design degree, like legit, nothing to do. But I always say my fashion design degree helped me get into mortgage. I was either going to have a fashion design degree, engineering, or architecture. And I really always said if I would have listened to my parents, I would have been an architect or engineer, kind of cool, but not as cool as mortgage. So the fashion design degree was great. It got us to where we are. I started in a call center, so countrywide. Those of the room that know what that is. Sometimes some people don't haven't lived in mortgage that long in 2006. And I sat in the same chair at Countrywide Home Loans for 7.5 years, which, if you've been around there, is an eternity. Came back from maternity leave after I had my daughter, and they moved me from being the top person in purchase in the call center to refis. It's like, what are we doing here? I'm really good at purchase. I hate this. I gotta leave, right? And so I had only known countrywide call center. That's all that I've done my whole life. So my crazy self, to tell you a little bit about what when Dave says some of the things that I say here, I walked into a retail mortgage shop with 0 referral partners, no book of business, literally said I'm going to do $100 million. And I did say I was going to do it with 40 hours a week. I mean, we're still not there. I'd love to say that, but we're going to do 100 million bucks, right? And ask for a guarantee. These things don't really happen. And I was dead serious, like 0 production, gonna do that. I didn't realize how hard it was gonna be, but I did it, right? And at that point, I like to show the light of what's going on in my story. I was a single mom, had a house payment, no savings, no child support, and a 6-month-old baby, and said, let's just go all in and jump into this. So if you go back in my journey, I definitely think adversity and some of the things that have happened to me are why maybe I'm a little more driven, don't like people taking care of me. But obviously that was a pretty hard thing to overcome. Fast forward, lots of life in mortgage. It took me all the way to 2020 when we could hit $100 million in production. And setting that goal, I really did not think in 2023 or 2013 that it was as big of a goal as I think I realized. I was in a call center where I was hand-fed business, right? And to make that many people call your phone and be self-sourced, completely different journey. So completely different for me on that. Then we kind of cycled through, everyone knows what we had in the life of 2022 and one, and everything's great before this. And then again, July of 2022, I really started, we say, the moment that everything changed in mortgage. And I remember this date, I remember a couple days in the call center, days where rates went up, 0.75% in a day, when we went to lunch, when we didn't even have our phones to check rates, right? Like rates just went up while we would just grab lunch. But this July of 2022 was just different. And that's when we started into this really long tunnel, as I like to call it. Then August comes around. I had some happy news. I had to throw this in there, right? For perspective. Had a second son 10 years apart from my other daughter. Such a cute little kid here, right? Mr. Alexander. So we had this happy time, in life. Then we ran into November of 22. And I just said, you know what? It was the worst funding month that we had had. I mean, to date, maybe 5, 6 years. I had a team of 5 at that point. So we're coming off highs. I had to make sure that they had jobs and they had paychecks. I'd always been queen bee where I was at the top. Not so much. Everyone was passing me. I'm like, this can't get any worse, right? This is what it is. Then, of course, I think what we planned for, it was so much worse than what we even planned for in terms of, what happened from here. So perspective again, I think a lot of us thought, oh, okay, we're on top of the world. We should do everything because that's my mentality. There's our pictures of, I thought it was still great. I still am not taking it back, but just a lot going on. We built a house from scratch, like piece of paper, architect, whole thing, sold a house, had 6 rental properties, all short-term rentals, by the way, renovated 2 properties, self-managed them all, thought that was just completely fine with an infant, a mortgage career, all the things in one, right? Then realized delegation, probably something I needed to get a little bit better on and let other people help me instead of me trying to take over the world. So we had that in life. And then we started into, sorry, my screen's there, the cancer diagnosis. And this is something that at first I didn't want to share. I didn't want to tell anybody what happened. I actually was on Dave's last, when we talked about Mortgage Coach on the Tuesday call, and I hadn't really publicly told a lot of people, of my journey. I'm a person that's like, we're not going to post video or pictures or anything without makeup and looking professional and put together. And I really put this on the screen. I said, this is going to be a lot, Dave, for me showing people I look like not me, not good. And I liked I I like to share this part of the journey because keeping everything together when you don't know what's happening with someone's life and all of the other things that we have to do to keep our business together. And I know I said I was going to do this whole thing without getting emotional, right? But I don't know that it's possible. So when we went and started down this part of the business, I felt like I couldn't tell anybody in our business world that I was sick, and I didn't. So this was actually the second time that I've had cancer. I can say, just as a PSA, if you have some type of bad health in your family, you should go to the doctor. Please don't miss doctor's appointments. Please check up on stuff. Please do preventative care. Please, please, please do all these things. I think when you're younger and you have something like this happen, a lot of people, a lot of doctors will dismiss you and you say, oh, you're not sick. You're not sick. That's not possible. And so just listen to yourself, listen to your body. Yes, work is important, but put it in perspective. And when you need to take care of yourself, please, please, please do. I probably should have listened a little sooner and so I got here. So the first time was in 2013 actually, or 2015, excuse me, when I had cancer, and I told my referral partners. My business went down. No, everybody thought I was too sick. I wasn't going to take care of their loan, all the things. And so I said, this time I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go through the whole thing and not tell anybody I'm sick. So literally the first page, my Jiffy Pop front page here, that is dry ice on my head, negative 35 degrees of dry ice on my head for 7 hours. Like horrible. And so anybody has cancer, you can do that and keep your hair. So that's why some people didn't know I was as sick as I was, because I kept my hair. And that last picture is my radiation, where I went 7 days or 5 days a week for 6.5 weeks every day, a couple of hours, drove to radiation, came back, kept the business going, had major surgery, chemo, all the things through this journey. So I say that if I can do all this through cancer, guys, and do all these horrible things, like there's got to be a more light at the end of the tunnel, and things have got to get better, and you can do it.
Hey, Stephanie, two things I just want to make sure these dates, because it's just wild. So you had your baby in August, in the same
Mm-hmm.
year, um, to
Like
3
2 months old.
months later, you found out that you had cancer. You know, so I
Mhm.
mean, first of all, like that's crazy. And then how much loan production did you do this year in 22?
So we did 64 million in 22,
Wow.
and it was the hardest $64 million ever. So again, all that personal stuff with the property is not fun. Business falling off a cliff, business is changing, have a baby, have to have surgery, radiation, chemo, all of the things. Hold it together, not tell anybody.
Yeah. Wow. What a struggle. And so first of all, you want to listen to this, just imagine that. And that should hopefully it certainly inspires me that there's more. There's more that you can do. There's more that you can handle. That's just wow. What a wild year that must have been, and what an inspiration you are. So, anyways, keep rolling. I just want to make sure I got the dates right.
Yep. So yeah, little baby. So here's my productions. We had all of that. Again, that 2023. So actually, excuse me, it was $80 million in 22, finishing up that chemo radiation went into 23. We had surgery in December, kind of went through all that. So 2023 leading in, cancer is not an overnight thing to cure. That was really where it was like, man, doing this all the time. And I remember having chemo and then getting up and doing happy hours the next day. Didn't drink, but had to put my smiling face on because I wasn't going to tell anyone I was sick. It not fun. We also took the team down to much less than 5 people, realized we needed different people on the team, and rebuilt an entire team that year. So yeah, definitely different. So as far as the things that I realized to change, I want to speak on, adaptability. And I felt like the chameleon was the best way to show this. And I love color. And you got to pivot and evaluate. Like I had to look at like what was working and what was not working. And some of the things that I said, okay, what do I need to do different? I needed to find people to surround myself with that were needle moving, that were game changers, and that could actually give me more business than one loan at a time. I have lots of great partners. I love all of my referral partners, but I was doing it the hard way and realized that I'm really good at this. I can work with who I want to. I can elevate. I can work with accounts. I can work on other different business sources. And I had to realize that and really shift and pivot. So I thought that was an appropriate slide. Ah. So I always say surround yourself with dreamers, doers, big picture thinkers, and who share your drive. If you haven't noticed in this, I have a little bit of a drive. I like to, again, really, if someone tells me I can't do something, I probably work harder to do it. If you haven't noticed, the adversity of my life and lots of other stories along the way have created my mindset that way. But those other people, like your real estate partners, your builder partners, your coworkers, whoever it may be, if they all think like you can take over the world and there is no true limit, because in real estate, the coolest thing in real estate, in any facet of it, there's no cap. You can make $10 million, $1 million, $500,000, whatever you want to do. You can help fund 100 million. You can do whatever it is you want to do. There is no limit, and it is much easier to do it with other people that are like-minded, especially like-minded real estate business partners. So and some of the other things that I realized is maximizing time and marketing differently. So my one-to-many marketing, I now have rethink that there is only so many hours in the day, and how can I touch as many people as possible? Couple things. Social media is powerful. We all know it. I knew it. I know I needed to go on it. And I realized time was my issue. So one of the things that helped me more than anything else is batch content and paying someone to help me, and then being completely all the time present on social media because it works. And one day I always say, that's another thing, Miss Denise, always amazing at social media, right? That was not my top suit. That's something that now I am all in on. Consistent email marketing. So when we talk, I think a lot of people don't realize the power of databases and the power of email marketing. Consistency, always making sure that your realtor partners, builder partners, clients have that consistent marketing from you. And I think so many people don't do that. Classes. So I actually now teach classes on video. I've done that a couple in the past. I like to teach classes on mortgage stuff, but basically everything I teach, I try to be the actual leader in the class. And teach it that I'm not talking just about home loans. You need to remember, what is something different? How can you help those real estate agents or builder partners elevate their game? And some of those, it's something I really, really like to do. And the other thing I like to make sure is create cheerleaders. So when we talk through how we again do this much business and maximize our time, everybody that you touch can be a referral partner. So how do you make the difference? And I always say, throw fairy dust on people, right? I'm good at having my fairy dust. Where then that person says, Stephanie's the best, you should use her for your home loan. You need to think of every single person that you can touch to do that. These are some of my just tips. Um, Other thing I think, in mindset here, I wake up every day thinking, what am I going to do to take over the world? I literally say that to myself. We have choice when we wake up. You know, are we going to sit here, phones down, we don't have as many calls coming in? Are you going to think outside the box? Some things work, some things don't. It doesn't matter. But what are you going to do today to wake up and take over the world? So
That you,
that's
no
that's
wonder
what I
you're,
got.
yeah, no, it's awesome. So a couple things, and I want to call out a few things just because I've interviewed you before and you didn't mention it here. You, by the way, you may want to figure out how to insert this into what you do on stage, but guys, she's so strategic, so smart with how she approaches her business. So she does an incredible job with her database, very CRM centric, has built her practice on her database and realtors, and then, take over the world. She wanted to get to 100 million. And she kind of realized that, hey, I'm not going to get to 100 million, or at least I'm not confidently going to get there with just my realtor pair and my database pair. And so, hey, I've got to win with builders. So I do think getting a little bit of your builder story and how you strategically added that pillar, you don't need a slide for it, but I just
Okay.
think I would weave that into what you share on stage. And then, by the way, how are you doing since I saw you last on your builder pair?
We've got, in terms of the count is growing
So, because
drastically,
I think you had 5 builders and it was about 30% of your business. What is it
yeah,
now?
we've got
Like 30
eight.
million?
Yeah, we've got about 8 right now. So we're probably more heavy builder than realtor at this point. Yeah.
Wow. Guys, did you hear that? I mean, we're talking, and in 2024, you had no builder business. 2025, she went from no builder business to like 5 builders and 30-ish million. And now another year later, she's up to 8 partnerships, and it's actually a bigger pillar than her real estate volume. So, by the way, that's a story that needs to be heard. So if you don't share it, I'll share it. And then I know when I did the last dinner with you, you talked about this synergy of how you were using the fact that you had these realtor relationships, you had this database practice to get builders. Like there was this, like the builder business was helping you with realtors, the builder business, like you just had this synergy among the 3 pillars. Could you describe that real quick?
I think the thing that I realize is that connection of people is important. And it doesn't, when we talk builders, this was my thing of like, do I want to get up here and talk about my builder story? Do I want to talk about other stuff? But I think everybody has their journey. Builder business is good. It's not for everybody, but I think it's just rethinking a group of people, and I can add this back to the presentation, a group of people that can give you more loans. So that can be, it counts. It doesn't have to be a builder, it can. It can be larger real estate teams. It can be the, some people go down the path of the CPAs and go down all of the people, the affinity programs, whatever it is, but it's somebody that's not a onesie twosie that can actually move the needle and give you 10, 20, 30 loans a month to consistently to be able to build your business, right? And so with that being said, when we kind of went into that journey, the builder reps need help. And so if you're able to connect them to your real estate partners, to think outside the box, to really get in the trenches with them to help sell real estate. And the same thing with our realtor partners. It's hard right now. So can you be the differentiator that helps them sell houses? And so one of the things that I've always done is have again, events where I'm bringing the builder partners and my realtor partners together, because a
Mm.
builder has a house, a realtor wants a house, right? And then affordability, and then being that synergy that brings everybody together.
So builder partners need help, and you're leveraging a combination of your database and your realtor relationships to bring them help. And realtors need help. They need inventory, homes to sell, database.
Affordable homes to sell, right?
Any
So
idea how much between your database and your realtor partnerships, any idea how much you've actually helped builders in terms of sell homes? Any just a gut
drastically. I
feel?
mean, the number, when we looked up before, we had, like we talked about, it was millions of dollars that we were losing every month to builders. And, because they got forward commitments, all the things. And so now it's interesting the number of times that I know the realtor and I know the builder partner, and we're all working on the same deal. It is a huge percentage where I'm fortunate enough to know both sides. And then that helps the builder sell the house. It helps the realtor be more confident in going with that builder because they know that the lender's good, and glue that all together. So I don't know how to put a number on it. I mean, 25% of the deals we do with the builder, usually I'm going to know the real estate agent or the partner, or to have some glue that holds us together, which is a huge percentage.
Wow, I love it. Well, Stephanie, I am fired up to see you in Vegas. If you are watching this, everyone, follow this woman on social media. What is the best place to follow you on social now?
I might have it changed by the time I put this up here. It's Steph Mortgage right now. We got to change that handle, but you just put Stephanie Johnston and Steph Mortgage. And by the time we present this, if it's different, we'll throw it on the screen though. If I change it, I'll let you know,
All
because I
right.
was actually working on some rebrand stuff over here.
All right. We'll put her into Google, put her into AI. There's a lot to be learned. I'm going to put a link down below to the last interview I did with her. It was a great top producer interview. It was a full hour. Uh, she shared how she's using Mortgage Coach, and she's a grandmaster. She's done more than 1,000 Mortgage Coach total cost analysis. Anyways, you're a major inspiration to the industry. I'm, grateful for the time you made to share. And I'll see you in a couple days in Vegas.
All
All right,
right.
everybody. We're going to wrap it up. If you have not subscribed to this YouTube channel, subscribe, share it, give it a like, engage it, and hopefully you got value today. Take care, everybody. This is a wrap.